The National Basketball Association, as talented as probably ever been, top down, a few guys I didn't even mention on this list that became all-stars in 2022 didn't even make the cut due to other players returning from a year off injury. Luckily, almost every player heading into the beginning of the 22-23 season should be fully healthy unless their summer goes wrong. With a combination of the game's greatest from 2016, some of the best players from 6 years ago, continues to remain some of the best players today. Whether you agree or disagree, one thing you can't deny, the NBA might have the heaviest array of stars and talented ballers heading into next season as ever before. Random guys who's made an All-NBA team within the last 10 years, like the DeAndre Fraudens and the Andre Drummonds of the world, would not even be top 40 players in 2023's NBA, even if they were in their primes. With that said, let's take a look at the top 25 players heading into the 2022-23 season. 25, Zach LaVine. Streaky, a nice jumper, can get buckets in a hurry. 5 years, 215, improved efficiency, and improved playmaker. Him and teammate DeRozan played like the best duo beginning of last season, possibly on his way to top 20 before an underwhelming 19.3 point playoff average, getting destroyed by Giannis's Bucks. Lost to be fulfilled at 27 years old, should be in the beginning stages of his prime. 24, Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans. After a successful berth to his first ever postseason, the aggression and passion in upping his game has been installed in his DNA. Never stops attacking the basket, improved in every way offensively, absolutely proven to be star worthy. Not as talented as prime KD, not even as talented as the guy who's been missing for over a year that went before him in his draft class, but the hard work, 3 straight 30-point playoff games. New Orleans has plenty to be excited for the upcoming season. 23, Karl Anthony Towns. Strong regular season, led Minnesota back to the playoffs, even dropped 60 one game. Will go down as the best 3-point shooting center all time given the amount of takes and makes. Has excellent game but underwhelming performance versus Memphis. The lack of postseason experience given the amount of years he's played, overzealous at times. Emotions gets the best of him. The best guy on the team, averaging 25 and 10, entering his prime. His spot sounds about right. Can't really move him up much if he never got past the first round. 22, Kyrie Irving. Believe it or not, there's way more optimism for the most polarizing star in the league. Given no more COVID restrictions, the ongoing distractions will still be a problem. The questionable motor, lack of games played, plus injury prone throughout his career, will still have some insane moments and highly efficient 40-point games. Has superstar type moves but lacks the defense and consistency to be called a true superstar. Awful leadership and teammate. Irving might be top 5 most skilled from a basketball magician standpoint, but every star I have above him on this list, a way better teammate with half as less negative noise. Number 21, Jaylen Brown, who more than proved himself as a stellar two-way presence, good motor, the best player on his team in the finals despite the losing effort, averaged nearly 24 and 6, 23 and 7 postseason numbers, always been on solid Boston teams but still a few steps below superstar status given how Draymond Green bothered him in the finals. Still too reckless and predictable when attacking the rim, out of control at times, easily stripped by elite defenders but never afraid to shine away. Gotta respect the confidence. 20, Donovan Mitchell, a very good scorer, explosive athlete, but kind of who he is at this point. Not much he can climb up the rankings given his lack of defense, especially in the postseason. Has been the number 1 offensive go-to since coming to the league. Unknown future where he will end up the next 5 years. Relied upon too much for the playoffs as a scorer. Overrated when being labeled as the next D Wade. The effort on D simply not there to be making those comparisons. He's just Wade at times without the D. 19, Chris Paul. After a stellar 17 season, looked like the point guard most of the regular season, was in top 5 MVP contention before the injuries, a perfect shooting game in the closeout versus the Pelts, but a near no-show, getting humiliated by Luka's Mavs, and Paul couldn't do a thing about it. Still an incredible player, his game aging well, but won't have it every night. Some games Father Time simply will take over, but given his knowledge and excellence and IQ, can still lead his team to high regular season wins, but come 2023 playoffs, good luck. 18, DeMar DeRozan, played like an MVP candidate coming off his very best season at age 32, simply doesn't happen often. Game aging very well, polished mid-range game, got the pull-up fadeaway working, proved to be the Bulls' best player. Laker fans still haunted by the fact he's not playing for his hometown team. Averages of 28, 5 and 5, over 50% shooting, very calm and composed, but come playoff time, he simply doesn't have what it takes to get the Bulls over the hump. If you want a reality check, that's the nicest way I'll put it. 17, Devin Booker, got way too far ahead of himself, prove he's not an elite level yet, still short of being called a true superstar, averages of nearly 27-5-5, a 64-win team, 8 games better than the second best regular season team, good enough to make first team All-NBA, but both got absolutely cooked, annihilated, humiliated, and embarrassed by the better and younger Luka Doncic, an ugly brutal Game 7 beatdown for the ages. After talking smack up 3-2, a 3-14 Game 7, Doncic came to his building and snatched his soul as soon as tip-off happened. The picture might haunt him the rest of his career unless he elevates his game and show up when everything's on the line. 16. James Harden. After his off-season workouts, I give the beard credit who will be 33 entering his second season with Philly. The benefit of the doubt, wasn't the same physically. That hamstring injury ruined his title hopes with Brooklyn. No rhythm and super slow a season ago, combined with the anti-flopping getting more strict. Harden, now well rested, appears to be getting in serious shape, looks way more serious, perhaps understanding this might be his last chance. Before the injury, Harden carried Brooklyn and was in MVP conversation when KD went down. That was only 16 months ago. If injury free, his scoring won't be as high as the Houston days, but being a 23, 8 and 10 guy, still amazing offensively. No doubt if him and Embiid healthy, the Sixers win somewhere in the 50s, but come playoff time, Sixers fans shouldn't get their hopes up too high. 15. Trae Young was entering top 10 discussion after his Cinderella 2021 playoff run, making Ben Simmons shat his pants under the rim, but the Hawks super underachieved last season, locked up by Miami, an ugly 32% shooting from the field after doing no wrong. The 2021 playoffs should fit well with DeJounte Murray, but given his small frame, struggles with physical play. At this time a year ago, some really thought Trae and Luka was a real debate, but given Doncic's lack of playoff series wins, now it's not even a question. Despite clearly the second best player in his class, Young could be an MVP candidate in his prime, but needs to add some movement without the ball to diversify his game. 14. Paul George, also injury prone, a more established and still better than Jaylen Brown. Super smooth game, numbers of over 24 a game, 7 and 6, improved passer over the years, still great on D. The 32-year-old very noticeable when having bad games. His scoring averages likely go down when Leonard's back. On a stacked team with a rejuvenated Reggie Jackson, a low risk high reward John Wall, I expect George to only average around 21 a game. 13. Anthony Davis, disrespected and mocked for his injuries, never caught a break since winning the bubble title. One of the biggest fall-offs, ESPN had the audacity to name Davis the second best player in the game just 2 years ago when he was in the top 5 discussion, but given the Lakers' struggles, AD kind of an afterthought now when mentioning with other superstars, elite on both ends, a 26 to 28 point score from 2017 to 2020, one of the best 3 defenders in the game, all the talent in the world. If Davis can just play 68 of 82 games next season, no reason why the Lakers can't get to the playoffs. Every time he shows pain, Laker fans sadly have to pray and hold their breath due to his heavy time miss. Can't put him in the top 10, but leaving Davis out the top 15, way too disrespectful and talented. Still 29, should still be in his prime. 12. John Moran, insane athlete, one of the most exciting young stars, hungry and fearless Memphis team, numbers of over 27, 5 and 6, but missed plenty of games. Crazy style of play can be concerning for the long term. After seeing how much the Grizz miss him in crunch time versus Golden State late, the 23-year-old has everything it takes to be a future MVP of the league. Sky's the limit for G12. 11. Damian Lillard, despite an ugly 2022 limited to just 29 games due to injury, the franchise parting ways with CJ, Dame's loyalty in today's NBA unmatched, one of the most lethal scorers, now already 32, was insane during the bubble and even most of 2021. His Blazers won't be serious contenders, but one of the best closers down the stretch, putting up between 25 to 29 a game to be expected. Number 10. Jimmy Butler, who plays his very best in the playoffs, won't do anything crazy in the regular season, but to score 40 plus multiple times against great teams, Jimmy Buckets has proven to solidify himself a future Hall of Famer. Clearly still the best player in Miami, over 27 a game for the postseason on 51% shooting, as competitive any star there is today, carried the Heat to the conference finals, deserves tons of credit for nearly beating the way better Celtics team, having to play with a backcourt of declining Kyle Lowry and Matt who nobody heard of 2 years ago, Strus. The round before the finals, Miami great chemistry for regular season but needs better talent in the later playoff rounds. Number 9, Jason Tatum. Everybody focused on his awful finals performance, but admitted his injury dealt with the last 2 months of the season. First team All-NBA, if he balled out and won the finals, like how he dominated Brooklyn, many would consider JT top 5 today, and was heading there until what Andrew Wiggins did to him. A 27.8 rebound small forward with all defensive team potential. The work ethic clearly shows, but his lack of aggressiveness holding him back. Needs to demand the ball and be more of an alpha dog to get to real MVP level status. No doubt he'll bounce back, can go one of two ways: struggle and be out the top 10, or sneak into the top 5 in a few months. If he leads Boston to the number 1 seed in the league with prime Kevin Durant numbers, he might be top 5 soon. Number 8, Kawhi Leonard. Still hasn't played in over a year. The Clippers might have been on their way winning the 2021 title thanks to Joe Ingles. Leonard balled out that postseason, but now in his early 30s and slow when making his moves, Leonard's ceiling might have already peaked, but his confidence and knowing how to take his time, a smart vet of the game, not the best teammate given his low management. He might start low managing as early as the first week of the regular season. Number 7, LeBron James. Exactly where he belongs, year 20, still put up insane numbers last season, but not winning any back-to-back games since January. After the title, barely any playoff success since. Can't rank him above Jokic, who's been a way better player the last 2 regular seasons over James with better numbers. Can't rank him over Embiid, who's been a monster for Philly and number 2 for MVP in back-to-back years. Steph Curry just won a title. Giannis in his very prime unstoppable. LeBron couldn't do what Luka did to the Suns, dismantling them. Take away Doncic from that Mavs team and put in 37-year-old LeBron James. He's not beating Phoenix. Yes, his Lakers roster old and not good, still a fantastic player. The amount of games missed the last 2 seasons concerning. James playing more than 75 games next season doesn't seem likely at this stage of his career. Still can be the best player on the floor on any given night. Bron fans will say I'm a hater. Bron haters will say I'm being too generous. If you want to make your case, give me a strong reason why James is still ahead of any of the 6 guys I mentioned above him. Number 6, Kevin Durant. After deciding to remain a net and run it back with Kyrie, new addition Ben Simmons, the team super loaded, no vaccine mandates, a year left for Irving to prove himself before another contract. His Boston series hurt his stock a bit, but the regular season dominance, still a 30-point game scorer in his sleep, still MVP candidate worthy if not for his lower body injuries. Number 5, Joel Embiid. A monster offensively, a bully on the post, can do it all. The size, strength, and dominance. Embiid has been a man amongst boys the last 2 seasons, second in MVP voting, and likely could have won it if he just played a little bit more games. The process still needs to be healthy come playoff time to get his team over the hump, but in his late 20s, this is win now time for Joel. Number 4, Luka Doncic. The Slovenian prodigy absolutely deserves heavy praise for what he did to the 64-win Suns. Made Booker his son. Incredible playoff performer. It would absolutely shock me at this point if Luka doesn't average more than 30 points in any full playoff series going forward. Just that special, controls the pace of the game as well as anybody, all the skills in the world. How many other players today on that Mavs roster could have done what Luka did to those Suns and demoralized an entire city like that? The only reason he wasn't close to winning MVP was his slow start, but looking great this offseason. The 23-year-old will be the MVP favorite in my book. I wouldn't even complain if anybody has Luka number 1 right now, because at this point of his career, Luka Doncic will be the very best player in the game very soon, if not sooner, mark my words. Number 3, Stephen Curry. After coming off Finals MVP, incredible Finals performance, his shooting clinic sucks the confidence out of every worthy team. Near impossible to guard with his quickness, footwork, and patience. A master at his craft, the 34-year-old saved his very best Finals in his 6th trip, although his efficiency and overall numbers not as good as the other top stars this past regular season. His presence alone leads to instant success. We all forgot about his regular season shooting slump, but as dangerous as they come playoff time. Number 2, Nikola Jokic. The back-to-back MVP literally had no help the last 2 postseasons, carrying guys like rookie Bones Highland, Frank Campazzo, Will Barton, Monte Morris playing 30 minutes, and Aaron Gordon as his number 2. The IQ, efficiency, feel for the game, and awareness second to none. Very relaxed with near perfect games from a passing and shooting standpoint. The 27-year-old already the best passing center all time, much improved defensively, has eyes like Magic Johnson, a top 3 rebounder in the game, can be a top 5 scorer if he wants. The perfect guy to build around. It's up to the Nuggets, Murray, and Porter to get healthy and ball out. The whole franchise owes Jokic everything to get things right. Number 1, Giannis Antetokounmpo. One of the most accomplished players his age, will be 28 by the end of the year. Has figured it out completely after winning Finals MVP, destroyed Phoenix, Knicks, already a 2-time league MVP. Media got bored voting for him. Didn't have his second best player in the semis in Middleton, averaged 34, 15, and 7. Played his hearts out, with Pat Connaughton being his third leading scorer. There is no doubt with a healthy Middleton, it would have been Giannis versus Steph in the finals, the closest thing we've seen to a modern day Shaq. The scary thing is, Giannis is only about 85% of what he can be, on his way to becoming the second best power forward all time. 26 to 30, I got Darius Garland, Anthony Edwards, Pascal Siakam, Zion Williamson because he hasn't played in a year, Bam Adebayo, then Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton, Rudy Gobert, Andrew Wiggins, and 35, LaMelo Ball. Thank you so much for watching this video. What are your thoughts on my rankings? Who's your top 10 in today's NBA? Which ones did you disagree with most? Let me know in the comments below. I love all of you. See you next time.